for me at least, rewarding about being a celebrity. The rest of it is kind of terrible.
Prioritize my kids and making sure they're okay. And then at some point in the future,
ignore that kind of a connection and that kind of love. This is not an expose that I wrote or a memoir. I'm not trying to draw attention to who those people.
I was just saying I'm really introverted, so I always feel nervous and kind of overwhelmed until I get to like a safe, quiet space, and then
I wasn't allowed to be a human. I was a topic of conversation and gossip and punchlines.
Famous toxic exes. Megan Fox is attempting to maintain peace in the wake of her comments in her new poetry book regarding renowned exes who were abusive to her. According to People,
for me at least, rewarding about being a celebrity. The rest of it is kind of terrible.
And really protect it so that that kid never struggles. And once I feel safe with that.
Different periods throughout my life, I was dealing with some really heavy experiences with different people.
prioritize my kids and making sure they're okay. And then at some point in the future,
the actor who plays Optimus Prime in the Transformers franchise recently had a discussion with the editor of Bustle, Samantha Leach, at Racket NYC on Tuesday. "I'm not trying to get anyone canceled," she remarked. "I'm not karma," she added after a pause. "I am unable to influence how other people respond to my artwork." In addition, the actress, who was speaking in order to promote her book titled Pretty Boys Are Poisonous, stated that the names of the individuals who committed the acts were irrelevant.
I don't know, you almost feel maybe jaded.
Negatively, what's been sort of, if you had to summarize, because I guess it is sort of a new phase of your career.
There was a tremendous amount of grief and an emotional fallout that we went through.
Fox stated that for once it should be about me, adding that she had to pull back on some of her more savage work. She stated, "I was surprised by how much I've been through, and I was taken aback by what she said."
Ignore that kind of a connection and that kind of love. We're not able to see a pregnancy through at one point in our relationship, and
I don't think that's obvious. I was talking especially as this movie shows, a lot of people aren't. Right. So
yeah, I get to perform a song I wrote about her. Actually, 2 years ago today, on this exact day, I wrote this song.
After opening up about her hardships and previous heartbreak, the actress from Jennifer's Body stated that she is not afraid to endure criticism for the work that she has done. "Because I'm not a terrible person, you won't ever be able to terminate my service. You may give it a shot," she suggested. Fans' interest in Fox's poetry was sparked after she opened up about her abusive relationships with very famous people and after she published some of her poems.
The first time he wrote it for me and I ran home and my mom happened to be staying with me at the time.
What I would call fictional, those are all real life experiences that I had.
She stated this during an appearance with Good Morning America. "Throughout my life, I have been in at least one physically abusive relationship and several psychologically very abusive relationships," she added. "Only a few people have known that I am related to them publicly, but I shared energy with those who were horrible people and also extremely renowned, very famous people."
I had gotten to a point where I was like, we need an adrenaline injection of God in this relationship.
For your entire adult life, you go through great seasons and very difficult seasons.
This is not an expose that I wrote or a memoir. I'm not trying to draw attention to who those people bound us together in a way. That's an experience that such a few amount of people have in.
"I believe we might conclude that they were horrible people. However, nobody is aware that I had any connection to those individuals." It would appear that Brian Austin Green, Shia LaBeouf, and David Gallagher are not the guys to whom Fox was referring when she said that she had dated other men in the past. Despite the fact that the poems seem to hint at Fox's troubled past, she clarified that they are not intended to serve as a memoir or an expose. The actress from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was inspired to write the book by her fiancé, Machine Gun Kelly, who is also the author of the book.
That's probably the most graphic poem that I wrote. Separated from their father, so I can only have them half of the time. That just is what it is.
She went as far as devoting multiple poems to the rock singer, to whom she eventually proposed in January 2022, after the couple had been dating for 2 years. It would appear that Fox made reference to MGK as a 32-year-old narcissist, and her true love twin flame. She even talked up about the loss of their pregnancy.
I did really believe that if I didn't get this out of me, it was going to cause cancer.
I was just saying I'm really introverted, so I always feel nervous and kind of overwhelmed until I get to like a safe, quiet space, and then
I just want to say the book is written specifically from my victim.
Well, so there's that possibility of what could have happened. Now, in light of what has happened,
In poems titled 1 and 2, there's an ultrasound by your side of the bed, and it shows that you are 10 weeks and 1 day pregnant. Do you believe that if she had the opportunity, she would have written a note expressing her desire to end her life? Unfortunately, it's time for me to part ways. They rip you from my insides as I hold you tightly against my chest and close my eyes, she added. I close my eyes and imagine holding you tight against my chest as they do it. I will pay any price, so tell me please, what is the ransom for her soul? Fox was married to Green for about 10 years, during which time the couple had 3 children together before deciding to divorce. Horrific dating history. Megan Fox opened up about her horrific past in relationships. In an interview with Good Morning America, the Transformers actress who is engaged to Machine Gun Kelly spoke candidly about her abusive relationships with very famous people. I've only had a few public relationships.
But is this a book about how part of me hates men? For sure.
When you found out, what did you do to prep? How did you get into that mindset?
I really didn't prep. I just kind of like,
I wasn't allowed to be a human. I was a topic of conversation and gossip and punchlines. The person who actually told me I should write a poetry book is Colson.
However, I was surrounded by, I suppose we might say, horrifying people as well as extremely well-known individuals. However, nobody is aware of my involvement with those individuals. Fox did not identify the men she was talking about, but she was previously wed to Brian Austin Green and has love connections to David Gallagher and Shia LaBeouf. In her recently released poetry collection, Pretty Boys Are Poisonous,
not when I was little. I was saying that that's not something I even like really conceptualized when I was young, but
Make it in the book because I was like, this is maybe for God's eyes only.
the 37-year-old actress also seemed to allude to her abuse. Nonetheless, Fox stated that the poetry shouldn't be interpreted as an exposé or autobiographical. To prevent viewers from piecing together her personal life, she even made the decision to leave out some of the suffering she endured.
Putting it out there, and for other women who are going through the same issues, how did you overcome that? How do you still overcome?
There's a lot of rather dark subject matter written about in the book, and I cry often. Every new moon, usually, I get in a bath and cry a lot about it because it is
and smudging it and holding you down and hitting you and then falling asleep on top of you.
The Jennifer's Body actress revealed that her fiancé encouraged her to publish the book and was the inspiration behind several of her poetry. Fox and MGK, who announced their engagement in January 2022, have neither acknowledged or refuted the reports of a miscarriage. But in March 2022, the hitmaker published a song titled Twin Flame, in which he says, "I'll see you in my dreams," and "Now I have to set you free." The music has a heartbeat. Fox and her 50-year-old ex-husband Green are parents to 3 children, Noah, Bodie, and Journey. The couple got married in 2010 but separated in 2019. Pretty Boys Are Poisonous. Megan Fox has released her debut collection of poems, Pretty Boys Are Poisonous, which offers a glimpse into her personal struggles with love, lust, and heartbreak. The author describes herself as a hopelessly romantic open wound of a human and a ransom for the soul of whoever beautiful, broken, self-absorbed idiot is hunting her down and draining her of her life force.
Or some kind of chronic illness because it was just living inside of me, eating me alive. And if you're delicate or sensitive at all, I think it's a really hard thing to go through. But it's a poetry book. I'm not trying to encourage anybody to hate men.
Really focus on healing myself emotionally and not unlike my mom, connecting to myself.
The poems in the book are inspired by the ups and downs they've faced since coupling up in May 2020. Many of the poems reference a 32-year-old narcissist, the author's true love twin flame, and a complacent rock star pretending to have good intentions. Fox previously called MGK an achingly beautiful boy in an Instagram post declaring her love for the rocker. The couple sparked breakup rumors in February 2023 when the actress wiped all pics of MGK from her Instagram account.
And sometimes you can feel almost disillusioned about, like, you know, that childlike.
People were ready to embrace that or tolerate it, and I actually got ridiculed for doing it.
Inspiration again was her. It was just a text she sent me before we actually really started dating that I misinterpreted. And
Throughout my life, I have been in at least one physically abusive relationship.
Following a reported argument during Super Bowl weekend in Arizona. However, just days later, the famous self-proclaimed twin flames reportedly reconciled and have been going strong ever since. The final two poems, which are labeled 1 and 2, are about the author's feelings of loss and despair after experiencing a miscarriage. After the rocker released a song titled Twin Flame on his mainstream sellout album in March 2022,
how I've had to go up against some of the most powerful men in the world, and the mirror that I've had to be for them. I shut down a lot and sort of retreated from everything and was essentially in hiding for several years.
Fans began to believe that the two may have gone through the trying experience. This led to the beginning of fan speculation. In the past, rumors have circulated that she is dating her former Transformers co-star, Shia LaBeouf, former Seventh Heaven actor David Gallagher, and her high school boyfriend, Ben Leahy.
It's really hard for me. This morning was really hard for me, like working myself up into knowing where I was coming and what I was going to do.
It's just hard being separated from them in that way. They are my DNA, like we share spirit, we share blood.
And I was like, Mom, listen, Colson just wrote me this song, and I played it for her, and she was like, well, that's my future son-in-law. I know that right away.
What amount of money I want in the bank so that I can protect that child's future.
Fox told People magazine during an interview she gave to promote her book that relationships are not glamorous. They are unattractive. There are moments when there is a conflict, but through every wound, there is an opportunity to grow and become a more powerful and complete version of yourself. That's all for this video, folks. See you next time.